Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, May 9th. You're listening to Weather with Enthusiasm. We are in the midst of the Midwest's first summer heat wave of the season. It's certainly a really exciting event for those people that have been waiting for summer really all year. And for even those people that have not been waiting for summer, at least in the initial stages of this heat wave, the weather starts off beautiful for many locations. The heat and humidity really start to come in at full force later on today, really more like tomorrow for the St. Louis area. Even today already, it's going to start to get real warm. The real humidity comes in tomorrow, but the real humidity comes in on Wednesday. And again, you know, the European dew points rising into the 70s Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. If the heat index does reach 100 or higher in St. Louis, Wednesday late afternoon or evening would be the time this is going to happen. Temperatures are going to start to drop Wednesday evening while the dew points rise. The rising dew points, that's going to absorb some of the temperatures, but temperatures for many people are going to feel hottest Wednesday late afternoon and evening. There's another reason for this as well. That's because there's going to be very little wind Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Up until that point, we're going to have breezy conditions out of the southwest. Here's the latest latest forecast that I think is going to be happening in the Chicago area. We have high temperatures. It's going to be very similar to St. Louis in regards to the official high temperatures. Let me take that back a little bit. The regular temperatures in the St. Louis area will be similar to what the official high is in Chicago, about 90. But the official high in St. Louis will be in the mid-90s. I just happen to know Lambert Field, for whatever reason, it gets to 94. It's going to hit 94. I mean, highs in the mid-90s there. Okay, but the temperatures, generally speaking, in the St. Louis area will remain in the low 90s. Here in the Chicago area, much of the region will see high temperatures, upper 80s, some 90-degree areas as well. But now we have to talk about West Rogers Park over here. So West Rogers Park, the south winds that are coming into West Rogers Park do go over a lake at some point. They are going over very cold waters of Lake Michigan, but not much. So the warm air will be moderated. It will be a moderation of warm air for most of the day, but you can't rule out a few minutes of getting a direct wind from the heat. That can't be ruled out. So the high temperatures here in West Rogers Park will range from mid-70s to upper 80s, and things will be pretty comfortable. That's going to be for tomorrow, probably today, highs in the 70s. Tomorrow, highs mid-70s to upper 80s. And even if it's not in the upper 80s, temperatures will feel comfortable, will feel warm. On Wednesday, temperatures might actually be the hottest on Wednesday, but that's also when we're most likely to see a backdoor lake cold front come through Wednesday afternoon. And this is when things become very complex. It becomes difficult to figure out what's going to happen at that point. The traditional way that forecasts have always been worded in this city is that high temperature near 90, but cooler near the lake. High temperature, let's say near 90, turning colder near the lake. Sometimes highs near 90, temperatures dropping into the 70s by the lake. That's how it's usually worded. But we know, people who live by the lake know that it's much more drastic than that. So we're dealing with lake water temperatures in the 40s. High temperatures Wednesday, mid-80s, maybe warmer, mid-70s maybe, mid-70s to upper 80s, the same routine again on Wednesday for West Rogers Park. But Wednesday afternoon, that's the one day where the computer models show vividly a front coming in off the lake, taking over the whole area with temperatures dropping into the 60s at least, while O'Hare Airport basks in 86-degree heat, the West Rogers Park area is going to be at 69 degrees. That's later on in the day on Wednesday. So, and 69, by the way, doesn't really mean 69. It means anywhere between 46 and 69. Okay, so hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll have 69. Winds are coming from the east at best. I mean, the worst case scenario seems like the winds will be from the east, not the northeast. So that reduces our chances of seeing a 46-degree reading. So in most likelihood, the 66 or 69, something like that, makes the most sense. It's going to be very difficult to get temperatures in the 40s if winds are not from the northeast. okay? But realize we are right next to an enormous body of water, which has a surface water temperature of 46 degrees at its south end, and it's even colder in the middle parts of the lake. And we have lived through this type of stuff before where everyone says it's warm, heat advisories, everything, and we need our winter coats here in West Rogers Park. So that's something to keep an eye on for Wednesday afternoon, more so Wednesday afternoon than any other day this week. Thursday, for West Rogers Park, it might even be warmest on Thursday. With temperatures going into the low 90s for Minneapolis, Minnesota, high temperatures well into the 80s for South Bend, Indiana, highs in the mid 80s for many days this week, upper 80s. The ridge breaks down slightly when it hits South Bend, so temperatures might not hit 90, but on the other hand, it's going to be a little bit less humid in South Bend, but still quite humid. Temperatures still might end up hitting 90. Boston, Massachusetts, I can't find where these forecasts are getting their information from that say the temperatures are going up into the mid-80s, possibly 90 degrees, but nonetheless, the National Weather Service tells us that Boston, Massachusetts might hit 90 degrees this week as the ridge heads on over there. It does not affect the rest of the East Coast. Surprisingly, Baltimore does not get affected by it. This is going to be one of those few times where places, if it's not Boston, but other places up north are going to be much, much warmer than the mid-Atlantic area and even places off into the southeast. We have drier air blowing into the New Orleans area, coming out of New England. It's doing a whole interesting route over there. But for now, it's warm and humid, even hot and humid. Even in Louisiana, we have record heat in that area as well. Arkansas will probably be the state that's going to break the most records this week. It's Arkansas. If you see the map, it's also because Arkansas, the records are not really that high to start off with. The real high records are in places like in Kansas and Nebraska. They're going to have the hardest time breaking records, but even they will be breaking records. It's difficult. You have to realize with all of the moisture in the soil right now from all the floods, it's difficult to get those temperatures to get real hot. The sun is not as efficient at heating things up when you have lots of water vapor in the air, but nonetheless, records are going to be broken. Thank you for listening. I wish everyone a good day.